Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alex Turbin. Today I'm going to be reviewing, or going over rather, not so much reviewing because it's not a completed project, but going over Turbo Pitfighter Turbo Teaser. These guys have a YouTube channel, and they show every week their progress on the book, and it's a fantastic book and it's a fantastic channel, and I'll have a link to them in the description. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own stuff. This is Mutandis number 4, which is a reprint of Random Access number 1 and 2 in their the Mutandis storyline, and these are all in newsprint. And well, for the foreseeable future, as long as I can do it, and it's got a new cover. So I'm working on different things for publishing covers and publishing and printing everything. But I also do Random Access, which is a 10-page, full-size, 12-page actually, full-size, sometimes full color, sometimes not full color, but I'm working on it. And this is Random Access number 21, and 22 is coming out shortly. And it has backup stories by Chris Knox and Paul Courtjohn. And you can get these at patreon.com/Alex Turbin, or you can go to my website, alexanderturbin.com, and you can check these out. And you also can find Mutandis and The Forlorn and all kinds of other things I've done. Or you can just message me at AlexTurbin0441 at Instagram. So let's get into Turbo Pitfighter. So I've had this for a week now, I think, and I hadn't really gone through it completely. I mean, I've looked at it, and obviously the art is too fantastic not to just kind of peruse through it. But I hadn't had a chance to read it, and we did the comic book exchange episode on their channel the other day, and I really wish I had gone through it really deeply so I could have really discussed all the amazing stuff about it. But I have. And I now it's fantastic. Some of the things that I can't really, like I said, this is just the teaser. I think there's 10 pages, 12 pages. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pages. They do this on a weekly basis, and I think they get like a page and a half done or something like that on their podcast on YouTube, which is really a fantastic idea. And so they have this amount done, and they're going to release it all together and stuff like that. Let's go through the story, and then I'll talk about the art and the writing, like I usually do. It starts as a flashback, and the stormtroopers, the soldiers or whatnot, come, and you don't really know why. I mean, it's a post-apocalyptic world, and there's lots of things that have happened, and I guess there's diseases and there's wars and there's all this other stuff. But it also feels a lot like Brazil. Anyone that's seen that movie is it's post-apocalyptic in a kind of a different way. It's more like the government has kind of taken over, and there's lots of more bureaucracy and stuff like that. So it's kind of more like, this is like a violent Brazil. But you also have these stormtroopers or security or whatever, police, and they come in and they kill a family, and they leave the main character. And I think that's Turbo, and I'm quite sure it's Turbo. It says later on that the parents were doctors and stuff like that. So it could also be very much like V for Vendetta, where the parents were like do-gooders and stuff, and the government wasn't having any of it. So then kind of flash forward, and this is another great thing about Turbo and these two creators, which the creators are Jake Jacobs, which is the story and pencils, and Kurt Bruegel, which is inks and the co-story. Which I'm pretty sure that that, I mean, I've watched a few of their episodes, and they discuss the story and how it's progressing, and they discuss the artwork, and it's a really a fantastic way to really get into the nuts and bolts of creating a comic and creating a damn fine comic as well. So it flash forwards another, like, again, I hadn't said it. It's a great thing when you can flash forward from a flashback and not say 20 years later or 15 years later. It's kind of like it just happens, and you just kind of know. One of the unusual things that I've really kind of have not so much struggled with, but I'm kind of more realizing, is that comic books have a certain limitation. So you have to really think out of the box in order to convey the ideas and the kind of the scene changes and stuff like that you want to kind of progress. Like, there is no in horror comics, they're fantastic. I love them. Well, I don't know. I'm not really into horror, so I don't know if I'd say I love them. But you don't have a shock value from comics because there's no movement. There's no scene changes like that, like in a movie or a TV show. It's like you're not going to be jumped. So that eliminates the complete possibility of certain types of feelings, emotions, and things happening. It's kind of like being surprised. Game of Thrones, I don't know if Game of Thrones would work because there's no, which there is a comic, but I haven't read it. There is no surprising anybody. Not to say that other story elements there's other things in comics that you can do that you can't do in movies or TV as well. But that the lack of motion, the lack of sound, it is a limitation that as a comic book creator you have to overcome, and these guys do it fantastically. Like I said, they transitioned from this previously happened 20 years ago, whatever, to this modern time thing, and it's very much like a Conan the Barbarian type of thing, or X-Men and the Wolverine thing, where it goes from the story to a fight in the arena, and it's a great transition. So a lot of this comic is fighting, and a lot of it is choreographed, and it's kind of it's told through the announcer, and it's really a fantastically done. You have Turbo here fighting some sort of big badass pit arena. I guess the arenas are like a like maybe people don't really have jobs, or they do have jobs, but their pit fighting is one of the big draws. It's like an everyday occurrence, an everyday thing, and it's not like a going to the sports arena and seeing a pit fight. It's going to the bar and seeing a pit fight, and maybe joining into the pit fight. So one of the things that's really fantastic about these guys is that their fight scenes are really choreographed greatly. One of the complaints that I had in the previous Daredevils that I was reviewing, because I was reviewing the first appearance of Lady Deathstrike, is that the artist used all of the same camera angles. I never really said camera angles. It was more like the same size characters. Like you have this same characters would be the same size in each panel fighting, and it was choreographed pretty good, but there's a certain limitation in the excitement and the dynamic really feel of the comic book. But this has really great panel transitions in the fight scene itself, and the perspectives and the foreshortening and all that stuff. Like you've got this straight on punch to the knee, and then it flashes to the announcer talking, and it's not just the head of the announcer, it's just the face of the announcer. So you've got this average size panel to this huge face panel to this big face panel, and you've got this great foreshortening with a punch that really goes right at you. And you've got this face that's getting smashed, and it's really, there's so much dynamic movement going on, and then it just goes to another perspective of the fight scene, And then it flashes back to what happened previously on the first page of the family getting killed. And again, they didn't have to say 20 years earlier. It actually, they use another technique, which is the taste of blood, which is actually the taste of blood from the first page. In the last panel, this is the taste of blood on the first page or rather the first panel of this page. So it really transitions really smoothly and really fantastically. And it's not like an abrupt change. It's more like a fade to black. It's a fade to black, and then it's a taste of blood. I really wish that we could do fades and stuff like that in comics, and I suppose in digital comics that's more possible. But using the panels, using the borders, using every technique that you have as at your disposal as an artist, it really conveys what you want to say as the fight progresses. So she's remembering her mother being killed, and she's talking about how she was a doctor and how they were good people or whatever. And then it goes back to her fighting in the pit. So that really conveys the emotion. She's drawing upon this emotion to encourage her to fight in the arenas, and she's just smashing this dude, and she just beats him to a pulp, and so she wins, and the fight scene's over. And there's a lot of not dialogue, but it's the announcer talking, and he's just kind of describing things that's going on and how much he's going to win and the next fight and all this kind of stuff. Some of the fantastic thing is about this book is the unusual ideas. The prize for the pit fighter of the main event wins a slave or a woman in a bottle. So that, I mean, as they say themselves, this is not a PC book. This is a Conan the Barbarian book. This is a barbarian book, a modern day barbarian or future day barbarian book. And these people are not good people. This whole society is just kind of gross and disgusting. And they keep a woman in a bottle, and she's some sort of prostitute or something. I think she's just a slave and doesn't really have any kind of say in anything. Although later on you kind of find that she did have a little bit of a say in stuff going on. But it's a fantastic idea that she is the prize. She's this sexy woman, naked woman in a bottle, except for her fuzzy thigh highs and a fantastic it's these little bits that they add to the book that is really fantastic. And I'll go a lot more in depth in that in the when I'm looking at the art and stuff. But it goes into the next fight, and the announcer introduces him. It's a samurai and it's something else. And Turbo, who's our main character, our heroine, she's really interested in this this woman in the glass tube, and the glass tube girl just is not into Turbo at all. I mean, of course, obviously Turbo's lesbian, but I think maybe in this world it's not lesbian and gay or straight. It's just everything. It's just, you get your pleasures where you can, when you can. I think the same thing would be if this was a good looking dude. Would Turbo be into it too? I'm not sure. I think I saw that the original title of the book was lesbian pit fighter or something like that. So maybe that's true. I kind of like the idea of it's just being in anything, but maybe Turbo is just a full-on lesbian, and that's kind of showing her her manliness and her masculinity, and because she is very Conan. She is through and through Conan, and I mean she's just got her barbaric tendencies and her violent tendencies, and yet she's also has a goodness about her that I think you'll probably see later on. More fight scenes between the two main event people who are guys who are fighting for the woman in the bottle, the slave in the bottle. And again, it's a great fight scene. Lots of different angles, lots of foreshortening, lots of different panel sizes, lots of different image sizes. And you find that one of the characters is actually cheating, and which somebody was winning, and then he collapses because of this dart. And Turbo, I'm not sure what happened here. Turbo takes off because actually she's looking for the money that she's promised, and since she's not going to get the money, she wants the grand prize because she wanted to offer up her prize money for the slave girl, or try to figure out some kind of bartering way in order for her to get the slave girl because she's really into her. So the bad guy, or one of the guys, gets shot with a dart, and they're cheating, and they kind of get in a brouhaha. One of them when one of the managers, I guess, realizes that there's cheating going on, but then the stormtroopers come in, and I'm not sure. I think they're government stormtroopers or government soldiers, and they are just laying waste to the whole complex, or maybe it's just the security of the pit place, or maybe it's his security. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to reread that and make sure. But this, again, it's a pleasure to look at, and it's a pleasure to read. So rereading it is no problem whatsoever. Some great action and movement here, and panel movement. You've got this. She's going to be shot at, so she dives under the bar, and bottles are being blown up and everything. And as well as that, it's having your eye move to this next panel, and then it goes over here. So it's go bam, bam, bam. It truly is a marvel at the panel layout that these guys are using and doing. So then Turbo, she wants her payment, so she's gonna destroy these security people, which she does. He easily enough. She just can smash anybody, I guess, and because she's a badass, a la Conan. And some people, some lame, stupid people might be like, "Oh, she's a Mary Sue. She's just awesome." But she's already proven herself. So being a Mary Sue is not in the equation. She's already proven that she's a badass in the pit fighting. And so if she does smash some security guard fairly easily, you realize that she is a badass. It's not that she's just a highly touted woman that whatever. She is a badass, and that's awesome. And she goes and she tries to rescue the slave girl because the security smashes through the bottle that she's in, or she breaks out of the bottle or something. She gets out, and the security grab her, and they're going to take her. But Turbo's not having any of it, and she's going to go rescue the slave girl and make her her own. And that is how, to be continued. That's how this little turbo teaser, which it really is a turbo teaser, ends. There's also some really fantastic Dooms magazines. I'm not sure if these are really going to be part of the comic, or if they're just kind of like, how Alan Moore did that in the backs of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He would have old-timey Victorian advertisements, and actually he would have stuff like that. He would have advertisements and articles at the back of Watchmen and or V for Vendetta. I think he did that too. So I'm not entirely sure if all of this stuff is going to come to fruition, or it's just adding flavor to the original text and the original storyline. They're really hugely world building, and it's fantastic, and I'm all in. I'm all for it. The writing, let's get into the writing. The writing is really great. I kind of thought going into this that I was going to be like, it's just like this brawl comic that isn't going to have any kind of dialogue, and if there is dialogue, it's going to be cheesy, but really it is 100% not. Turbo, has her own flavor. She has her own style and her own feel. It's very Conan-ish. She doesn't say a whole lot, but when she does, she says it directly, and she doesn't mess around. She doesn't screw around. She says what she means. She does what she says. She's kind of like, I'm going to punch you in the face, and then she punches you in the face. But saying also that too, I feel like she has a lot more personality and a lot more goodness in her, kind of like Conan does in all of his stuff. Even though he's a barbarian and he's not into civilization and stuff, he knows right from wrong. And knowing right from wrong isn't being part of your civilization. Like this is an apocalyptic civilization, and she's going to go along with that whole jive and feel of the storyline and the whole world, but she's also going to carve out her own personal morality here, and that's a really awesome thing to do. And the announcers text is really fantastic. He tells you what's going on, but not in a way that's like I'm going to show you a panel and then I'm going to tell you what's happening. It's more like he's an announcer. That's what he's supposed to do, and it just moves the story along. It doesn't interfere with reading with the action and going along with the action. It more like adds flavor to it. It's more like going to a boxing arena and hearing what the announcers are saying or stuff like that, which is really fantastic. So everybody really has their own story, their own voice, their own unique characterization, and that's really cool. It doesn't deviate from the world building that they're doing. It actually adds to the world building that they're working on, which is really fantastic. So the art really, there's so much to be said for this, and they talk about how they're going to publish it, how they're going to pursue printing it and stuff like that. And I really truly think that this should be published by like either a Mad Cave or a somebody like that, some publisher, where all they have to do is do the artwork and the story and let the publisher do the other stuff. And I really think that they would benefit from that. But they're also doing this whole YouTube podcast thing where they work on the book, and as they're working on the book, they're progressing the story and stuff. And I hope that everybody supports them as they're doing that. I don't know if they're monetized yet, but when they are monetized, I really think that they really need the most support that they can get, because this is such a fantastic book. The art-wise especially. It's really interesting to see how their styles mesh. You've got Jake. I mean, he's got a huge amount of detail, but Kurt, he just adds that much more detail, and the blacks, and it just seems like they were meant to work together. Like they were supposed to be one person and one artist, but somebody in the grand scheme of thing ripped them apart and said, hey, find each other and create this beautiful art together, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, look at this fantastic detail. You've got this, it's amazing. It's a little bit Barry Windsor Smithish, I would say. There's a lot of things you could see influences from. You could see a lot of the old Conan, Savage Sword of Conan art. It's very loose, but not so loose that you lose any of the detail. There's humongous amounts of detail, and this inking is just crazy. It's taking them quite a while to do it and to finish it, and kudos to them for taking their time and doing it how they want to do it. I just wish there was more, and they were getting it out more and faster. Just because I want more. I mean, that's the thing. They're leaving people wanting more, and when it does come out in its entirety, people are going to really want it. So, yeah, it's really fantastic work. I mean, the amount of detail is crazy. One of the hardest things to do is background characters, and the background at the pit fight is just so amazing. So This is a great book, and I'm going to link their YouTube videos in the descriptions, and go support them, go watch them. I hope they monetize so that they can become rich and famous off this, because it 100% deserves it. And I very heartily look forward to reading more and seeing more of their work. And I don't feel like anything that is going to dilute the quality of the stuff that they're doing. And I think they're set on a path, and they have an extremely great vision of what they want to do. And like I said, I am really 100% looking for more. And another thing, I'm going to draw Turbo tonight. Turbo, as soon as I started reading the book, I wanted to draw her. I wanted to know more about this character. It's just some characters you gravitate towards. You want to read them. You want to draw them. You want them in your life. Adam Eater has a great knack for doing that, creating characters that you just want to draw. Nate has a really fantastic character in Max Murder, and that you just want to draw it. So anyway, Turbo Pit Fighter, Turbo Teaser, pages 1 through 12. It's a really fantastic read. It's a fantastic book, and I wholeheartedly recommend that you check them out and check out their YouTube videos. And I hope they put these out for sale, because I think there's a whole ton of people that would really enjoy them. If it's not for sale, I'm not entirely sure if it is. But anyway, go check them out. And thank you guys very, very much for watching. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell, and also giving me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, because if I got a thumbs down, I would cry. But anyway, I will see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.